Hello, friends and fellow adventurers. Welcome back to Rolling Solo RPG. Today we're going to be continuing with episode 20, or session 20, of Zargo's Tale. Welcome. Thank you once again for joining me. Thanks for clicking on the button, and let's just jump right into it. I'm ready to play. Last time we just stopped as soon as Vega had came back outside of the warehouse. She surveyed the area. She got a little bit of routines of the patrol routes of the workers. They're not patrolling, but they're working. So she kind of got a feel for where they could be when they're not paying attention. And I'm going to try to really hurry through this because this is taking a lot longer than I want it to. So let's just get right into it. And I had an idea. Now, before we entered this warehouse, I mentioned that there's a little overseer, shift manager up here on top of the little, I called it a catwalk, but only because I don't know the actual term for what that would be. And I'm thinking she has to have a good eye of the front door, otherwise what's the point of being up there so high, right? So has she noticed kind of what was going on? Maybe not that the worker was killed, because when they kind of stabbed it, luckily for them, they were kind of like right behind this. It would have been within view of this worker here, but I'm thinking they were preoccupied. But let's ask our fate chart. Still, chaos factor 5 for now. I'm going to go back to changing it up and down. But for today, we are at chaos factor 5. Did the shift manager, the shift leader up here, did she see anything suspicious of what they had going on down here? And I'm going to say that it's 50-50. Oh, a 90. That is a no. Not an extreme no. If it was an extreme no, maybe I'd say she was taking a nap herself, even though she's the one supposed to be looking out for taking a nap or something. Or maybe she was just like entirely predisposed. Regardless, that was not the answer, but the answer was a no. So she did not see that. Luckily for our heroes. Now we need to get back in there and we need to thin these numbers. All right, Vega told Brack and Zargo what she saw and how she thinks that we could go about doing this. And she thinks, in Vega's voice, I believe that we can take out those two guards where I delivered my cart of goods fairly easily. They are very far away from everyone else and not within view of anyone else. So I believe, Brack, if you can stealthily follow me up there, I believe I can approach them without raising suspicion, seeing as they just saw me. I believe I will pretend that I left something on the cart or something. That should be relatively easy to convince them of that. If you can stealthily get up there, Brack, I believe we can each take one out simultaneously without causing any disturbance. Zargo, I think if you just move inside just a bit past where we took out the door checker here and stay behind that box, even with your big size and your very loud plate armor, I think you should be fine there. So, let's give it a try. I think it's our only shot. And they are all in agreement. So, we are going to go in. Vega leads the way. She is going to make her way over. Now we're just going to kind of pause there because Brack is going to need to make a few stealth checks. I'm going to have to make one stealth check here to kind of get past the view of all these workers here, and then I'm gonna have him make one more just to get past here. Now he's relatively good at stealth, and their passive DC for perception, I believe, is 18. Okay, that's pretty high. Why, man? That's a pretty high perception for a -1 creature. But it is what it is. That's why we roll the dice. All right, and then Zargo, I'm not going to make her make a stealth check because, for one, her stealth sucks, and that would definitely blow our cover anyway, and it's already going to be pretty risky. So let me just kind of check her stealth. Her stealth's a 5. That's not too bad. So if we do need to make her roll something, we're going to do it. All right, so Vega made her way past. She's going to get pretty close just in case things go bad. She at least can take out one of them, maybe. Or, I already moved it. I already said that's gonna happen, so I'm gonna stick to it. It probably would have been better if she didn't go so far away by herself, just in case things do go bad. But we will handle that if it comes up. So, and one thing I did remember, but also I knew that I had forgotten last episode, so I'm not gonna go back and change it. But Vega is already missing about a third of her health, which is no bueno. If we do get into a scrap, which I have a feeling is inevitable. Regardless, let's get Brack with his stealth. Stealth of 11, and he needs to beat an 18. So he has to roll a 7 or higher. But the way my luck goes, that's not going to happen. So he's going to make one check to get past this. He's going to get to here. And if he gets caught, then we'll go from there. All right, first stealth check for Brack. A 6. What did I tell you, man? These dice just hate me. So he fails. He is seen. That doesn't necessarily mean everybody's gonna throwing knives at him immediately, but Brack is seen. Now, is Brack seen? All right, here let's do this. I'm gonna say he got seen by the overseer, so that he was for sure seen. So I'm thinking he's definitely seen by the overseer. But is the overseer the only one that saw him? I'm going to say that it's likely. Is the overseer the only one that saw him? On a 67, no, fudge. Barely. These dice just barely creep past the point of where I want them to be, just to taunt me, I feel like. So no, she was not the only one. Alright. So she sees him, and she kind of, I think, ooh, this person here. Yep. These two here were kind of looking up, kind of talking to her, shouting back and forth, be like, hey, move those boxes over there, you dummies. Like, we already moved those boxes over there. Do you want us to move them back over there? Yes, I want you to move them back over there. You do what I say, and you get your pay. And as they're kind of shouting back and forth, she sees Brack kind of tiptoeing his way. I'm going to say he can make it to here. And she says, she kind of points Brack out to the two that she's just yelling back and forth with. And like, what? Who's that there? What's that guy? Bring him over here. Okay, so I don't think she knows right. I'm going to go with this. That's kind of funny. She doesn't know that Brack is necessarily an infiltrator at this point. Maybe she just thinks that he could be a worker. Yeah, I like it. So, what is he doing? Nobody's supposed to be in that area right now. Not until 10 o'clock. Go see what he's up to. So these two are going to break away from whatever they were doing, and they're going to come down here to talk to Brack. They kind of see him walking away, and they're like, oh, you, lizard man, what do you think you're doing? Shift leader says nobody's supposed to be over here. Alright, so Brack is going to have to do some quick thinking. Is Brack smart enough to kind of go along with this and pretend like he's just a worker here and he's kind of lost? Now, there's a lot of people here. Most likely, yes, they would all know each other's faces, but since there is so many here, maybe this is a new guy kind of thing. I'm not going to roll to see if he tries. I'm just going to say he is going to try to convince them that he is a worker. So he's just going to totally play dumb right now. It's like, I'm sorry. I thought that these barrels over here with the swords needed to get on the boat right away. I could have sworn that was on the manifest. So that is going to be a... Ooh, he's not good at anything. Ooh, not good at anything. Performance, survival, thievery, nope. It would be a performance or diplomacy. A deception? I think it's going to be a deception. They're all zeros, so it doesn't really matter what I roll. He's going to have to beat a 15 with nothing added to his roll. I do have a hero point. I got to remember that now, so. Do they believe Brack's lie? With a 2, no. And I'm gonna use Brack's reroll right now because we need this. Otherwise, things are gonna get hairy real quick. A 4. Oh man, these dice hate me, man. I tell you what. All right, so Brack fails. They're like, nah, we're not believing what you're saying, boy. You ain't supposed to be here, are you? You're not even dressed in the proper attire to be a worker here. So we are going to start combat. No, I tell you what. Let's not start combat just yet. Let's see. Let's ask the dice, because that's what happens when we don't know what to do. Does Brack put up a fight, or does he take the path of least resistance, knowing that his 2 allies have not been seen yet, and maybe they'll just kind of take him to like a makeshift questioning area or something? All right. So the question is, does Brack put up a fight? I'm going to say it's unlikely. So I'm thinking he's just going to kind of go with the flow and go with them. So does Brack put up a fight? Unlikely. 14. Of course he does. Of course he does. Because these guys just want me to fight. That's what I'm going to do. So Brack puts up a fight and says, I'm not going anywhere with you. If you want me, you will have to take me. All right, Vega definitely sees this. But has she started talking to these people over here? If not, I'm going to say that she can maybe break away and go help Brack real quick. Has she engaged with these 2 workers over here? I'm going to say 50-50. 45, yes, she has already engaged with these workers over here. Oh, man. So she just kind of, it seems I forgot my jacket on the cart here, and I'll just grab that. Thank you. Goodbye. Are they going to continue to pay attention, or are they just going to go back to their job? I think it is very unlikely they're going to continue to pay attention to her. 11, though. Oh. That means, yes, they are going to continue to pay attention to her. And that is a random event. That's our first random event in a while because, well, I haven't been asking too many questions. Oh, all right. We're gonna start combat. I know we are. What's the event focus of this random event before that happens? 02, a remote event. All right, something that happens not here. Okay. Event focus is something that happens not here, in a different location. What is going to happen in this different location? And I'm thinking that's going to be an action. 89. Suppress. 62. Suppress obscurity. Suppressing obscurity. Something that was obscure and it was remote, so it's not happening here. Really, the only thing that I can easily jump to is over at the guardhouse. I believe some investigative work has been done. Now, the obscurity is who was behind the killing of our prisoner, Drew, the dwarf, who was killed inside his jail cell at the guardhouse, and then also someone stole the ledger of Amari. Now, I'm thinking that suppressing obscurity means they put some evidence together and they figured out who was behind all that. So I'm going to write that down and let's get back into it. Unfortunately, though, that brings us back to our tabletop where Brack and Vega are in a serious jam. I'm say Vega is able to make it to here before we are going to start initiative. Now, for sure, at least these 4 workers here, the 2 by the boat and the 2 that came over to talk to Brack, are going to be in this initiative right now. Zargo has a very good view of what's going on over here. All right. I'm thinking If Brack can pull them over to here, that's going to come out of line of sight with that, but she's going to be pretty suspicious. So maybe she's not going to send people in this next round or two. All right, cool. Let's get some initiatives going. I'm going to roll all the baddies together and all our heroes at the same time. So that does mean Brack gets to go first, which is really good because Brack is going to use his first action to come over near Vega. And he's going to use his next two actions to ready an attack. If one of them comes within melee range, he is going to make a strike against them. Because he really needs them to come to him right now, so we can get out of the eye of that. Next up, we have Vega. What is she going to do? I think she's going to... First action, she's going to draw her bow, and she gets to attack with her drawing action. And I think she's going to fire at these guys back here, just to quickly take them out. She knows that they are alerted. So Vega makes a bow strike against that first halfling there. That's going to be a 12 plus a 9, which is going to be a hit. Perfect. Going to be a d6 of damage for that arrow. Oh, 1. Come on. These dice, I tell you what. Alright, she still has 2 more actions, though. She has a reload of 0 on her bow. I think she's going to strike again. That's with a +4 this time. An 18 plus 4. Yes, that's going to be a 22, and that is another hit. Where does she hit? Ooh, and speaking of where does she hit, I bought the starter set for the Fallout role-playing game recently, and it, funny enough, came with a dice that actually has body part locations on it, so I don't have to roll my d6 that always rolls a 5 all the time, so I can roll that with our damage. Right in the left arm for 6 points of damage. Good job, Vega. Leaving this poor worker with only 1 hit point left. All right, Vega's going to go for gold here. She's going to make her third attack with a -1. Got to beat a 15. Ooh, with a natural 1. I'm glad I do not play with crit cards. Next up, we have all our people here. I'm just going to start with these two. I'm going to move them in tandem, so they're both going to take their first action to move. And this one's actually going to probably move up to here. Their second action, they're both going to draw a weapon. In their third action, they're going to take individual turns trying to attack Brack. But Brack did say that he was going to make a strike, and the first one that moved into range for him was the top one here. So he is going to make a strike with his star knife. A 5 and a 9. Ooh, not quite. Literally 1 point off. Man, these dice are they just love to 1 point me, baby. Alright, but they're now going to both take turns striking at Brack. And this is their last action for both of them. So the first one's going to strike at Brack. Of course they get a 19. Why friggin' wouldn't they? A -1 creature has the same bonus to attack as my level 3 hero. For whatever reason. Because that's cool. Alright, so a 19 and a 9 is going to be 28. That does not crit, luckily. I'm kind of surprised, honestly. And I'm thinking they kind of have, like, billy clubs. I don't think they have swords or anything. And especially their stab block says they have frying pans, but... We'll just go billy clubs. That's going to be 1d4 -1. So their damage is pretty low. So I will roll my d8, cut it in half, because that's what I do. Hits in the right leg for 1 point of damage, -1, so 0. I think it's a minimum of 1. I'm going to make it a minimum of 1. As much as I would like him to just take no damage, that wouldn't make any sense. So 1 point of damage from the first strike. Second one with their last action and a strike is going to be a 17 plus a 9, which is going to be a 26. And yes, that hits. Right in the torso. So with the billy club and a 6 divided in half, because that's 3 minus 1 is going to be 2 more points of damage. 1, 2, boom! 2 more points of damage to Brack as he is pelted right in the chest with the billy club. These two over here's turn. First action, they're going to move. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That's one action. Second action, they're going to move. 5, 10. I think he's going to move up here 15. And his third action, he's going to draw a weapon. Same for this guy. I think he's going to make it 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 5, 10, 15, and draw. So that was all three of their turns and all three of their actions and all four of their turns, actually. Now Zargo. Zargo sees this going on, but she has to get past here. And if this guard sees a third party member coming in, well, she doesn't. She saw Vega most likely, but she didn't think nothing of it. Brack aroused suspicion. Now she sees another stranger in here. She's going to call everybody over. So, what's Zargo going to do? She has to go help her friends. I'm not even going to think about it. All right, this is going to get really hairy really quick. First action, Zargo's just going to, she's not even going to think. She's going to run 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 5, 10, 15, 20 for her second action. So definitely the Overseer saw this, and I'm going to add her own turn. She's going to be able to send more people over, I think, each round on her turn. I'm going to have her go at the end here. Yeah. So right after Zargo goes, she's going to go. Every time she gets a turn, she's not going to get 3 actions or whatever. I'm just going to have her send like 2 more guards over. And we are slowly going to get overwhelmed. That's what's going to happen. All right, Zargo still has 1 more action, though. Come on, Zargo. We need you to hit. So they are flanking. Zargo is flanking with Brack on this worker here. With a 9 plus her 10, that's going to be a 19 total, which is a hit. Ooh, and that was in the head, too, so it's going to be a bonus point of damage. I'm thinking Zargo is just one-handing her Bastard Sword, so she has her shield in her other hand. So that's just going to be a D8 plus her 4 for her strength. And that was in the head, so it gets a bonus point of damage. 10 points of damage. Yes, that is enough to easily one-hit this little worker because they are not paying attention. So down to 0 as Zargo just comes through. She kind of does like a downward swing that comes up overhead, boom, and plants it right in the top of the skull of this worker who is not wearing a helmet or anything. So it just makes a solid thud as the worker collapses to the ground. And the weight of the worker collapsing pulls the sword up out of the head as Zargo is holding on to it. Good final action for Zargo because our Overseer here is going to point to these 2 over here and have them join the fray. Round 2. Brack is up once again. Brack's attention was on this top one anyway, who was the one he tried to attack, but they were able to dodge it. But Brack is not going to be so easily dodged this time. He is going to use his first action to make a strike with his Star Knife. With a 16 plus his 9 is going to be a 25 to hit, and that is a crit. D4 plus 4. And where does it hit? In the torso. He just jams it right in the torso. Kind of like how he got hit in the torso with the Billy Club. He thrusts it in for 6 points of damage with his first action. Feeling confident, I wasn't going to make him strike again, but feeling confident, I think he is going to strike one more time. That is going to be a miss. He's going to go for gold. Third strike. Still with a +1. And that one, of course not. That's alright though. That was all 3 of Brack's turns. Vega is up. She has her bow in hand. She's going to drop her bow to the ground with a free action as she draws her short sword and strikes at the worker with 1 health. So max bonus to attack. With a miss, second attack, a nat 20, thank you. Second attack is going to be a hit. Is that a critical success? That's going to be a 4. That's a 24 total. Yes, that is a critical success. Not that it matters because she hit. She didn't even have to roll for damage. That is death for that one. Third action, Vega is going to attempt to strike the lower one with a 12, and a -1 is only going to be an 11 to hit. But that's all right. We did pretty good that round. Next up, we have the workers here. I'm going to start with the worker with 2 health. They are going to strike at Brack. Of course they hit. With a 27, hits Brack. Right in the torso. And that's a 1 for damage. Minimum of 1. So 1 more point of damage to Brack. Second action, they're going to strike again. What is... This dice has not rolled below a 18 for these fucking enemies. This is nice, whatever. That is going to be a hit. In the torso for 3 points of damage. It was a 4, so -1. It's going to be 3 more points of damage again in the torso. Hits the same spot as before. Starting to form a bruise on Brack's belly. Third action, I think they're going to go for gold, because what else is there to do but just attack, attack, attack? I mean, it's not fun theoretically, but I mean, you're in a fight to kill people. Why would you not just attack all you can? Regardless, 9, that is a miss, finally. What do you know? Next up is this one over here with full health. They are going to strike at Vega. For 24 of hit, of course, they never miss. I shouldn't even roll to hit. I'm just going to say they all automatically hit, no matter if they're a negative 300 frickin' enemy. In the left leg with max damage, 3 points, of course. Strikes again. Do I even need a roll? No, because it's an nat 20. Ah, oh, Dice, you're just so funny. Minimum damage, though, in the left leg. So 1 doubled is 2 points. Last action. Another 20 for you? Oh, because it's the last action you roll, though. Oh. But also, these guys over here get to continue, start their journey. Okay, so they only make it to on their turn. Zargo is up. Zargo is within reach of this worker up here. She's gonna, as her sword kind of comes out of the skull of the previous one, she's just gonna bring it back up overhead and slice down on top. An 11 and 11 is a 22. That is a hit. Good job, Zargo. We need a clutch player in here, the way these enemies' dice are rolling. And that is going to be a D8 for Zargo. Plus her 4. That's going to be in the right leg this time. 4 points of damage, plus 4 more points of damage is enough to kill this halfling. So she struck for the head, so she kind of did an downward arc, but the worker dodged, but they left their foot, or their whole leg in place, and she just came down hard on their leg, severing it as they kind of lose their balance and boom, fall on their little nub and bleed out and die. So there's another enemy down. Zargo. I'm thinking they are literally just barely. See if I can get it on the screen here for you guys. Yeah, so they're just barely out of view. This would be where the overseer could see them. And they are literally just barely out of view. So she's not sure what's going on, but she knows something is not right over there. So I'm not... I was going to say Zargo might run over here and just intercept these people before they even get over here, but knowing that, I'm going to say Zargo's going to use her second action I'm going to say it's 10 feet of movement to kind of squeeze. Well, the dead body doesn't count as far as I'm concerned. I don't think there's any hard set rule. A dead body doesn't really count as difficult terrain. 5, 10, 15 foot step over here. And she is now within reach for her second attack, which is going to be a -5 because she does not have an agility weapon or an agile weapon with a nat 1, of course, because it's our hero's dice. With a miss, but that was her third action. And this halfling troublemaker, so she's going to get the attention of these other two here. She's going to send 2 at a time. She's going to say, hey, you two go. So next round, we have 4 inbound on our heroes. Brack is up. Brack. Still has his star knife in hand. He is just going to take his first action to 5 foot step up. His second action, he's going to throw his star knife because he gets a bonus for throwing. So he's just good at throwing things. Not a bonus to hit, but a bonus to damage. So he's going to fling his throwing star knife at this worker here for a 19. Good job, Brack. Thank you. Dice. Brack's dice, I think, are the only ones that roll half decent. And that is going to be a 28, which is a critical, even though it wasn't a natural 20. All right, a d4 plus 4 times 2. 6 plus 4 times 2 is 20, so I don't even need to add all that up. That is death as the star knife flies through the air. Landing, I didn't roll where it lands, sticks right into the rib cage of this worker here, bringing it down to 0 hit points as it falls to the ground dead. Good job, team. Okay, Brack's going to use his second action to use his tongue. Wraps around the handle of the knife, comes back to him. His third action, he's going to... What is he going to do? What is he going to do? I think he's going to move. He's going to kind of move down to next to Zargo. That way he has a bit of cover from the enemies there. Vega is going to use her first action to pick her bow up off the ground because it was still in her same square. So she uses her first action to pick her bow up. Second action, an attack. And she's going to strike at... Actually, no, because... All right, let's ask the fate chart first. Does Vega know that this... If she struck this worker, that it would give away what they're doing down here? Nah, I'm going to say 50-50. Would Vega know that? 11. Ooh, another... No way. Another random event. Okay, so Vega would know that. So she's going to use her... Because her first action, she picked up her weapon. So her 2 actions after that is going to be to ready an action that once anybody steps in to... within range, kind of within one of these 2 squares here, she's going to strike with her bow. All right, which will bring us to them. And before we get to their turn, let's roll our second random event for this round. And I might call it after we figure out what this random event is because we are almost at an hour here. Some of that I'll be able to cut out of me walking away from the mic and what such. But either way, we're approaching our session limit. Now, what is our random event? Event focus 42 NPC negative. Okay, NPC negative. So it's not going to be one of our heroes, but it is going to be a character off our characters list. Okay, so our character list, let's bring that up. Now let's roll to see which NPC gets the negative and what that negative will be. So I roll a d6 to find out which section we're going to roll from. And that's 1, so it's going to be within the first section. Now a d10 to figure out which one. 3, that's Amari, the cult member. So an NPC negative to Amari. And we know Amari is somewhere in this warehouse. honestly, tell you the truth, I was kind of hoping it was going to be Zargo's parents because I have something in the back of my mind that I'm going to present anyway, and that would have been a beautiful time to incorporate that. And I could have chosen that. Yes, it's well within my right, but I like the dice to make the decisions, not me. So Amari has a negative. What negative is that? Before we call today's session, I'm going to go with descriptions. $59 lightly, and 44 lightly heavy. That's an oxymoron. Lightly heavy. Okay, so in my mind, I kind of know what Amari is doing here. So, in light of that random event, and since this is the end of the episode, I'm going to let you viewers in on what I kind of have going on in my mind. So, this whole time, I've kind of been thinking of a lot of things what Amari could be doing, and I've had in my mind quote unquote kind of boss for our first segment here, and I've I've come to a conclusion that it's going to be a vampire, which I have ready to go here in this office up here. And Amari was going to be in this office talking to this dark figure standing here in this office. So with NPC negative with Amari and lightly heavy, I wasn't sure how to go with that, but I'm thinking lightly heavy. So it's not something that's physically heavy, it's something that is metaphorically heavy. And lightly heavy, I'm taking that, I'm really twisting that a little bit. Vampires don't like light. Lightly heavy, I'm thinking that this vampire is turning him against his will, kind of like as this is going on. So this door down here would be shut, and so they're like completely alone in this room, talking about whatever they were talking about, doing whatever they were doing beforehand. But I'm thinking that against Amari's will right now, while we're battling outside over here, he is being turned into a vampire. Okay. I like that. I like it. I like it. And that's where we're going to end it today. We're going to continue with that fight. It is the workers' turn to come in. And I need to write a note down that Vega is ready. She has an action ready to strike when they move into this area. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to call it there. Hope to see you again in the next episode. Maybe we'll finalize this warehouse and continue on to something else. So, and other notes just for the show, the channel in general, I will be starting an Avatar series very soon, probably next week. I'm never going to be ready if I always prepare myself to be ready, so I'm just going to jump into it. It's going to be really sloppy at first. I'm going to start out with just kind of running through the pre-made, very loosely running through the pre-made adventure they have for the starter box, just to get a feel for it, see how things go. It's going to be really sluggish, going to be really slow. Maybe it'll be somebody's style. Maybe it won't be other people's. Either way, that's going to be starting soon. Thank you, and goodbye, friend.